I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. It's been a pretty active afternoon here as we've been tracking a cluster of showers and thunderstorms that have held together for a long period of time, moving from northeast Georgia into the metro Atlanta area, and they're continuing to push down toward the south and east. They are a little weaker now, but we're keeping an eye on them to see if any of them pulse up anymore to maybe trigger any additional severe thunderstorm warnings. As of right now, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We were supposed to have one in effect until 7 o'clock, but about 10 minutes ago, the National Weather Service canceled that warning on the south side. That was in parts of South Fulton County, headed toward areas of Coweta County and into areas of Douglas County. But again, that was canceled because that storm is falling apart. We have been watching, though, an outflow boundary right in here, and that is causing these storms to fire up in parts of Henry County. And then we still have a little pulse of some thunder and lightning there out I-20, moving in from Douglas County over into the northern parts of Carroll County. The National Weather Service giving a special weather statement on this, showing that we have winds of maybe around 40 miles an hour. Small hail possible with this, but so far that is not classified as a severe storm. And then we'll watch this one down near McDonough along 75 south there in Henry County to see if that storm is actually going to grow and get stronger, and whether or not they could issue a warning on that one. But right now we're just kind of keeping an eye on that. These storms were impressive as they pushed through the Atlanta area with very heavy rain, thunder and lightning. We had some hail. Some of those cores of hail were showing hail sizes close to 2 inches in diameter. So impressive stuff that we were seeing there. This is falling apart right now along 29 there near Palmetto in South Fulton County. This is right along 85 and just to the north of 85, north of Tyrone there in parts of Fayette County. Here's that one cell that I was talking about out I-20 west over toward Villa Rica, where we have some of that heavier rain, really between Villa Rica and Fairplay. This part is where we have that heaviest rain and the more of that concentration of lightning with that. In fact, I'll show you a lightning count with that part of the storm right here. And you can see that in that red box, we've got about 30 lightning strikes in a 15-minute period. Now, and this is, again, zoomed into a small area. Excuse me. So that is pretty impressive amount of lightning just in that small area there between Villa Rica and also over toward Fairplay. And that is part of that entire complex of storms that moved in over the northern metro area, pushing through the city of Atlanta. And then as it moved down south of Atlanta, it just couldn't hold together anymore and it started falling apart. That's why they canceled that one warning here in parts of South Fulton. And then we're watching this one, though, just to see if that's going to ramp up any more. And then I also want to take you down to this one in McDonough. And you can see again that outflow boundary that was developing there from some of those collapsing storms to the north caused these storms to fire up here. Those are going to push down into Spalding County and also into parts of Pike and Lamar County. And we'll see again if those are going to hold together there pretty well there with that thunder and lightning rings. I'm just hearing the music now in my ear that just came on there too. So again, there's that cluster that we're watching there near McDonough and Locust Grove with that heavier rain. It went away, so we're good now. In those areas there south of Henry County. And really just look how that really just developed here. There was nothing moving in, no line of storms or anything pushing into that direction. It just really just developed and kind of flared up. So that's right along 675 and 75 there toward Locust Grove. Again, right there near the McDonough area. And Hampton is right over here. That's where we have the Speedway. I'm going to show you a camera from that coming up here in just a second. But there again, you can see the number of lightning strikes with that storm over on the west side. We've got about 28 lightning strikes again there in the past 15 minutes. And so everything's weakening as it moves away. Still some lighter showers north of I-20 in parts of Paulding County, moving into Polk County, even reaching up into areas of Bartow County. But nothing is strong with those. We don't even really see any lightning there far to the north of that. Take a look at Gainesville. No rain coming down in Gainesville anymore, but earlier, they had a lot of heavy rain that came through, and there's a flash flood warning in effect until 8:30 for parts of Hall County in this green polygon you see right here. I want to show you some of the rain amounts that we had up there. And we'll zoom in, well actually we won't zoom in a little tighter. Let me show you some of those rainfall totals there within that flash flood warning that we're talking about. 1 to 2 inches of rain fell in a very short period of time over from Chestatee to near the Gainesville area there in Hall County, and that's why they have that flash flood warning in effect. And we saw a lot of runoff from some of those storms running down into some flood-prone areas, causing some of that flooding. But we do think that now that the rain is over, a lot of that water will start to recede and things should improve there a little bit more. We've also been watching these storms coming out of South Carolina, pushing into parts of northeast Georgia near Stevens County there into Toccoa, also into Habersham County. Still a little bit of lightning with that north of Mossy Creek and again into Habersham County, not too far off from the Clarksville area. But those are, even though we still have some lightning there, we'll keep an eye on those to see if those are going to grow anymore, but we're not seeing any indications of that. And also here, Fannin County, Union County around Ivy Log, we have some thunder and lightning there, but nothing really major with that too. So all in all, things are beginning to improve. And what's happening is, as these storms have moved in, we have rain-cooled air, which is actually stabilizing our atmosphere somewhat. So that's why we're not overly concerned about additional storms that are going to be developing out there tonight. We'll just get these pushing down to the south. We'll keep an eye on these on the south side to see if any more are going to fire up there in parts of Henry County, again, because of that outflow boundary. But north of that, things should be okay. And then nothing else is really pushing into our direction tonight. So things should be calming down for the rest of the evening hours out there tonight. This is a view from yesterday, actually. Stanley Leary took that of one of those storms that was developing up in the Roswell area. Here is a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson. I'll put this up full screen so you can see what we're watching there, where those storms are weakening somewhat. Now, we had a ground stop that was issued at Hartsfield-Jackson. Let me fix this camera here. That was issued at Hartsfield-Jackson, and that also caused some, of course, the flights to be delayed there. We're beginning to see some of those planes moving around on the runways and taxiways. Now, a lot of times with the ground stop, it will be flights incoming to Atlanta that will be stopped at where they're departing, so they'll have to wait a little while. But the rain has moved out. Things should start improving. When they issued this ground stop, they were thinking it may be in effect until 7:30, but it's encouraging to see some planes there moving on the runways. A nice view here in Coweta County in Newnan, as we had a nice shelf cloud that was moving in over Coweta County and over Newnan a little while ago with some of those storms that were pushing through, but as they've been weakening, they've moved in, and now we're seeing some blue sky there. And at Atlanta Motor Speedway, I showed you that area of rain north of Hampton, and as we are looking up toward the north and east, you can see here some of those clouds in association with those storms, and a lot of cars there in the infield. That's because they're gearing up for all the special events on the race coming up this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and into Sunday as well. So some activity going on there. That's the last thing they want to see, is any lightning or any rain coming in to the Speedway at Echo Park. Here's a look. I mentioned that flash flood warning in effect up in Hall County and the Gainesville area. This is in an area at MLK Jr. Boulevard where it's a low-lying area that collected a lot of that water. Some of the pictures that we've seen from this area where the water was almost up to the hood of one of the cars, and again, hopefully we're seeing that receding. Here is another picture. This is from Cindy in Roswell, where you can see the hail. This was generally pea to marble-sized hail that was piling up there next to the wall and these plants there on that sidewalk. So that was impressive amounts of hail that came in for this afternoon. Now, it got hot today. Temperatures were in the lower 90s. Not heat advisory criteria for us, but still holding on to that heat advisory in parts of northwest Georgia for about another 50 minutes. This is going to be in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. We did see some hotter air in northwest Georgia today, and those heat index values near or a little bit above 100 degrees. But again, that'll be expiring at 8 o'clock tonight. And then I think we're going to be done with the heat advisories for a while. We're still going to have hot air with temperatures that'll be generally in the lower 90s. Heat index values maybe mid and upper 90s. But in order to have a heat advisory, you need to have heat index values that are going to be at a 105 or above. And I think we're finished with that for a while. We're not finished with that for the whole summer, but we're just seeing our temperatures trending back down into the lower 90s, and those heat index values should come down a little bit too. Now, we're holding on for this level 2 of 5 risk from the Storm Prediction Center. I really think they're going to be updating this soon and take away that level 2 risk. As I mentioned, we have some rain-cooled air and more stable air over parts of North Georgia, so we don't think we'll see any additional strong storms developing out there for tonight. Tomorrow, the green color over us is indicating that level 1 to 5 risk. Again, with heating in the afternoon, moisture, plenty of humidity around. We'll see a few of those scattered showers and storms that'll be bubbling up out there, but nothing really widespread. It's just going to be the ones that develop could be strong as they form. Here's a look at that high today. We made it up to 92 degrees this afternoon. Our low was at 72. You know, my wife and I went out this morning to have coffee on the back porch. At first she didn't want to go out there, but I was like, honey, really, it feels okay. The dew points were a little bit lower. It just wasn't as muggy. There was a little bit of a breeze too, so it actually felt okay, still mild, but just not as oppressively humid as it has been. And then we got up to 92. The average high is 89, so even though that 92 feels better because we haven't had those temperatures in the mid and upper 90s, but it's still above the average. 89 is the average for this time of year. And no rain officially at Hartsfield-Jackson as of when this was put out around 4:30. We did have some showers that moved in over Hartsfield-Jackson a little bit earlier, so we'll have an updated number of that rainfall total for today coming up a little bit later on tonight. Here's a look at what we're watching with those summer storms out there that we're going to see those chances each and every day coming up for the next few days. Generally anywhere between 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night is when we can see these summertime storms, heat and humidity just bubbling up some of these scattered showers here. So what you need to do, keep your rain gear with you because you just don't want to get caught with one of those storms that pops up when you need that umbrella. And also always have a plan to be able to go somewhere for safety if one of those storms fires up over you, because when they do fire up, they are strong with heavy rain and also some thunder and lightning. Now, I want you to look at this before I overlay the temperatures. Notice here a lot of oranges and reds to the south and even there in northwest Georgia. But here where you're seeing these yellows and greens, that kind of follows the path of where we had those storms that rolled through earlier. And from that rain-cooled air dropped the temperatures. So notice Atlanta's at 74. That's after we got up to 92 just a few hours ago. And now the rain-cooled air dropped us to 74. It's 72 in Marietta, 71 in Canton. Duluth and Gainesville are at 79. But those areas that didn't get the rain and the rain-cooled air, it's still 91 in Athens, 86 in Covington, 84 in Thomaston. And look at these mid-80s still in Rome and also in Dalton. Again, you can pick out those areas that didn't get the rain today. And look what happened with the temperature trends today. We started off there in the lower 70s for a big part of the morning, then moved up into the 80s, into the 90s. It was actually got to 92 in between these hourlies here, and then the rain came, and look what happened. We went from 91 to 79 at 6, 74 at 7 o'clock. So that helped to really cool us off pretty nicely out there. Now tomorrow, we start out at 72 in the morning. We get up to 92 in the afternoon, and still in the afternoon tomorrow, that potential for some of those scattered showers that'll be developing here. Rain chances at about 30 to 40%. So tonight, anything that's out there is going to be diminishing as we see some calmer, more stable air over us at this hour. Tomorrow morning, we're dry again. Lunchtime is still dry. Then into the afternoon, again, not a widespread coverage of rain, just a few scattered showers that develop, but the ones that develop could be strong. And then as you see here, it all pretty much dies out. And then Saturday, similar story here, scattered showers redeveloping in the afternoon and evening hours with those temperatures that are going to be really holding there in the lower 90s throughout the period. So the 40% chance for showers is going to stick with us there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and on Tuesday. Look at the temperatures that are going to be in the lower 90s there through the weekend and starting next week. Then we see some of that slightly cooler air coming in. Upper 80s. Now, I wouldn't really call that cooler. We'll just say not as hot. Upper 80s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and the rain chances coming down to about 30% here for the middle of next week as well. So thank you for joining us for this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. I'm going to be keeping an eye on any of those additional rain showers and storms that are out there for tonight. If any of them start getting crazy on the south side or in those areas that have the warmer air where we're not seeing more stable air, I'll let you know if there's anything that you need to worry about. Otherwise, our next scheduled update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7 will be at 9 o'clock tonight. And then, of course, our newscast tonight at 11. Thanks for joining us.